So track slow, weather fine, and the penetrometer reading for racing out there today is 4.5. Now, the first event, in fact, has been run and won. It was the first division of the Somerton Handicap. There were no scratchings, a field of 14. The favourite was number 2, Hewler Hall. And let's pick up the replay now with our commentator, Brian Martin.
Lights on. Racing in the opening event, Buffalo Road missed the start about 2 or 3 lengths. Hewler Hall has begun okay, quickly racing up towards the lead with Beau Bundry on the inside of it when they settle down. They're followed further back in the field into stride now by Bank On, and back behind them on the outside is Rich Abbott working to the lead from Affirmative Action. Back behind them then St Leonard's Ladder. Riga Star was hampered there back on the inside of the Making Ground Marabou's Phantom, followed by Tremor Bay. Bushhaven racing out deep. Riga Star going greenly. 2 or 3 further back, Lionheart and a gap in the field. Reparoa followed by St Helens Lane and Buffalo Road. Up to the school they race. Beau Bundry got up on the inside of the favourite Hewler Hall, and Rich Abbott makes a line of 3. 2 or 3 Affirmative Action, St Leonard's Lad, and then further back in the field came Bank On. Then Tremor Bay followed by Marabou's Phantom. On the turn, Hewler Hall going up to Beau Bundry. Rich Abbott on the outside battling on but under the whip. They're 3 lengths in front now. Further back Affirmative Action, and running on now Tremor Bay. On the turn they race a line of 3 here. Beau Bundry, Hewler Hall, and on the outside Rich Abbott, and here coming at them Tremor Bay. Tremor Bay moved up on the outside to grab Rich Abbott. Hewler Hall struggling. Tremor Bay from back in the field took the lead now from Hewler Hall, Beau Bundry, Affirmative Action and Rich Abbott, and it's starting to come right away. Tremor Bay by 3 lengths. Hewler Hall got second, a half head in front of Rich Abbott third, then Beau Bundry, Affirmative Action.
And that was the replay of the first event at Moonee Valley. Race 2, 3 and 4 are clear. From race 5, take out number 2, Raj Quartet, number 2 out of the 5th event. Race 6, the 4 and 20 Export Handicap is clear. Race 7, the 4 and 20 Handicap scratchings are number 6, Kentucky Hostess, and 13, Nagle Road. The Wedgwood Handicap race 8 is clear, and race 9, you can take out number 12, Taffeta Bow. 4 scratchings for Moonee Valley. Randwick in Sydney this afternoon, and the track there is slow. The weather is fine. Track slow, weather fine at Randwick, and 17 scratchings. The first event, take out the emergencies, 19 and 20, New Generation and Ministry. Race 2, scratchings are 1, Phimisa, 2, Mr Marceau, and 5, Amir. The third event, scratchings are 21, Palace of Dreams, and 22, Mackinaw. The Bert Lilly Welter race 4 is clear. Race 5, the Journalist Plate, scratching number 10, Bombay Express. Race 6, you can take out number 1, Wong, the top weight out of the 6th event. The Jack Ward Handicap race 7, the emergencies are out, 15, 16, 17 and 18, Lunch in Sydney, Oxbridge, Miss Amazer and Noble Trader. And from the final event, take out 3, Short Black, 4, Celebrity Lover, 18, Georgian Gold, and 19, Feminine Ways. So 17 scratchings to report for Randwick in Sydney. We'll check the scratchings for the other venues a little bit later on. Morfordville in South Australia. Come over to the platform for the running of race 1, the Roy Abbott Handicap. So Ian Craig back from holidays in Sydney today, and we'll take you up to Ian now for his call of the opening race on the card at Randwick, the Roy Abbott Handicap. So let's take you up to Ian now as the starter comes to his platform for race number 1 on the card, and here's one through the front of the gates, and Brinny it is, number 3, which has come through the front.
Gets back aboard Myo Boom. Reserves out a field of 18. Mills K, a little edgy. Brinny still not quite in the gates. Not a bad hold on the tote here for the first. 473,000 for the win. 262,000 for the place. Healthy figures at this early stage. Now, Brinny just trotted around behind the line before the veterinary surgeon, and I think he's happy. This race getting a little bit behind schedule now, about 2 to 2.5 minutes after the advertised start. Now, Brinny moves up once more, and again they're ready for the first here, the Roy Abbott Handicap. Starter goes onto his stand. Stand by for action. Racing. Marinsky wide out amongst the best to begin. Kazan jumped well, and so did Mayo Boom and Brinny, and then British Raj. Milskay is hunting through, and so is the heavily backed West Dancer looking for the lead. A length in, two Plauded and on the inside. Newton Moss, Cold Victory, and further back Great Impact, followed on the fence by Jack Mack and then Lucky Lacquer. Imperial Native well back, and so's Imperianto, followed by Chicago Park and Dive and Storm Anchor's Lust. Along past the 700, West Dancer leads narrowly now from British Raj the outside. Three deep is the Grey Kazan, a length and a half Marinsky, one Mayo Boom, 1.5 Milskay, Cold Victory, Plauded, three Newton Moss, and then Jack Mack, Great Impact and Brinny on the corner, and West Dancer shows the way about a long neck or so on British Raj. Three deep is Kazan, Marinsky behind them on the rails, a length Mayo Boom hooking 5 wide, then Milskay, and the next is Cold Victory at the 300 metres, and Tiley gives the leader more rain, and West Dancer tackled by Mayo Boom. Tiley pulls the whip on West Dancer. It has no answer to Mayo Boom, and at the 100 Mayo Boom kicked away from West Dancer. Marinsky the inside, and Milskay runs home, but Mayo Boom a mile too good, and Mayo Boom a length and 3/4 Marinsky. Third was Milskay, then Cold Victory, West Dancer, followed by Plauded and Great Impact. A break Imperianto, then came Newton Moss, Chicago Park and Imperial Native. A break Kazan, British Raj, Jack Mack, and then Lucky Lacquer, Storm Anchor and Dive second last, tailed off being Brinny.
Peter Cook, the winning rider, aboard number 4, Mayo Boom, in the first event here in Sydney. Second placing going to number 10, Marinsky, Darren Beedman, and third, number 1, Milskay, ridden by Sieg William. 4, 10 and 1, the numbers after the first event here in Sydney. Now,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ready here at Moonee Valley for the Moonee Valley hurdle race. Over 12 hurdles. The light is on and they're off and running. And Dr. Sam down on the inside. He hopped away well today. Doe on the outside of him going quickly. Barry's Gold towards a lead from Sayuga. My Court Jewel further out from Noble Heritage, Surveillance, Dobbin Deans, and then further back Prince Lindell. Outside him Pika McGuess, and racing up about midfield but out wide. Going towards the lead actually now is Sir Agrafo. They've gone over 2, and as they go into the back straight on the first round, Barry's Gold under a good hold at a length. Second placing on the outside, Sir Agrafo. Dr. Sam ahead away third. A length into Noble Heritage, and he's caught a little wide around the outside there of My Court Jewel, and Surveillance on the fence. 1.5 further back Sayuga, 3 or 4 to Dobbin Deans, Pika McGuess, and 2 or 3 to Prince Lindell. There's one along the back, the hurdle along the back of the 900 metre mark on the first round, and Barry's Gold jumped it well. They're all over safely. Barry's Gold a length and a half, Sir Agrafo a length to Dr. Sam. My Court Jewel is fourth, Noble Heritage out 3 deep, and over on the fence locked away at the moment Surveillance, a length into Sayuga. They're followed about 3 or 4 lengths to Dobbin Deans, and then Pika McGuess, and 4 or 5 to Prince Lindell. Coming up by the school with about 2,600 metres to go in the first round, the leader Barry's Gold measured it well about a length. Sir Agrafo out in the clear on the outside, getting a good sight at his hurdles. 2 then to Dr. Sam as they come up to the second of the double on the school in the first round. Sir Agrafo getting across to the rail, and Barry's Gold's out a length and a half in front of him. Sir Agrafo second, a length, then Sayuga on the outside of My Court Jewel. Dr. Sam was on the fence, but he came away from the rail to put the favourite out 3 deep. My Court Jewel and Sayuga 4 wide. A length into Noble Heritage. Now he shuffled back to be 1 off the fence on the outside of Surveillance as they bunch up. 2 to Pika McGuess, Dobbin Deans, and 5 to Prince Lindell last of all. His hurdle number 6, short of 2,000 metres to go. Into the straight they come, and Barry's Gold travelling nicely in the lead. Here he comes down towards this one in front of the stand. Oh, he shifted ground a little, and he moved out wide to be a length and a half to Sir Agrafo, second, a half to Dr. Sam, third at the winning post, and then Surveillance up on the inside of Sayuga. Harnett has kicked up quickly on My Court Jewel out 3 deep, a length and a half to Noble Heritage. 2 or 3 to Dobbin Deans, Pika McGuess, and Prince Lindell is under the whip last of all. 1,600 to go. They've gone over 6 hurdles, 6 to go on the Moonee Valley hurdle. Barry's Gold a length in front. On the fence, Sir Agrafo, and Maunders saving ground. In fact, he's poked up on the inside when Barry's Gold was shifting ground going down to that one. Dr. Sam moved up to be third, fourth on the outside, My Court Jewel. Then Dobbin Deans on the outside of it, Sayuga. 3 to Noble Heritage, and further back Surveillance, Pika McGuess under the whip, and 8 lengths last of all is Prince Lindell. Into the back, and Sir Agrafo with that rails run with Maund aboard, got up on the inside of Barry's Gold. They're together into the back straight. A length and a half, Dr. Sam, a neck the outside, My Court Jewel. 4 lengths further back, then Sayuga. 5 to Dobbin Deans, 2 then to Noble Heritage, Pika McGuess, and then last of all of the main bunch is Surveillance. At the jump of the 950, Barry's Gold again in front, landed a length in front of Sir Agrafo. Dobbin Deans went down to that one, and it's Barry's Gold a length, Sir Agrafo. A neck on the outside, My Court Jewel working into it. A length and a half to Dr. Sam, and 2 lengths to Sayuga, and 15 lengths Surveillance, Noble Heritage. 3 hurdles out, coming up the the side. 700 to go. Barry's Gold, the grey, still in front. A length in advance of Dr. Sam, pulled to the outside. On the fence, Sir Agrafo is still there, whacking away with My Court Jewel coming at them. 3 lengths further back, then Sayuga. Coming up towards the second last. 500 to go, and again Sir Agrafo got up on the inside of Barry's Gold. Over it together, and My Court Jewel went down. The favourite is down, and it's Sir Agrafo, a neck in front now of Barry's Gold with 1 hurdle to get over. They're 8 lengths in front of Dr. Sam and Sayuga. Sir Agrafo on the inside coming to the turn, 1 hurdle out. A half length of Barry's Gold. 8 lengths further back, Dr. Sam and Sayuga. Turning for home, Morns pulled the whip on the leader, Sir Agrafo. He's a neck in front, coming at him again, Barry's Gold. They come down towards the last. Sir Agrafo about a half in front of Barry's Gold. Here's the last all. Sir Agrafo has badly hampered Barry's Gold. He shifted out, but he's kicked away. He might get a big enough margin. And Sir Agrafo wins 2 lengths to Barry's Gold. We'll probably hear more, but he has won comfortably, the winner. 4 lengths away, third, Dr. Sam. Then a gap to Sayuga, followed by Prince Lyndall, who's well back with Pega McGuess. The riderless My Court Jewel was a beaten horse when he went down. Noble Heritage is last of the runners to get in. And Dobbin Deans crashed with the rider down the back of the 950-metre mark. And one that didn't complete the course here, Surveillance, just trotting up to the home turn. Harnett OK, walking straight across to the infield area there. And the rider of Dobbin Deans, let's go back to him. I think he may have been picked up pretty quickly by the ambulance. Now, this is interesting because Sir Agrafo has shifted out very badly. He has run the last hurdle down and has come out and has hampered Barry's Gold. Has moved out probably about 4 horses, but then I think Morn realised what had happened and he went for home, obviously to try and get a good margin up in the run to the post, and he's won it by nearly 2 lengths. I'd venture to say that the rider of Barry's Gold, without any doubt, P. Goss, will fire a protest in, I'd say, after that incident at the last hurdle. But Barry's Gold has been beaten nearly 2 lengths by Sir Agrafo, and third placing will go to Dr. Sam, about 6 lengths away third. So this will be interesting after the running of race number 2. I wouldn't give up.
Moonee Valley, more details shortly. They've jumped a minute early in Brisbane.
Champagne Jim pulling pretty hard, and last of all is Bow Tie. No speed on, coming down the side, just under 1,000 metres to go. Proud Native by a length and a half. In the limelight second, Mr. Snoopy ahead away third. 1 to another Mundo, racing out 3 deep. Certain Avenger the middle, Bold Profile the inside. Bow Tie starting to pick up ground, and Champagne Jim stood at the rear. Heading up towards the 600, Proud Native a length in front. In the limelight second, another Mundo going up the deep on the track, and Bow Tie making a lightning-like move right around the field. Williams has taken off on him. He's going up to tackle those leaders. Certain Avenger is back third last as they straighten up. Mr. Snoopy over on the inside, then Champagne Jim and Bold Profile. 400 metres out, Proud Native joined quickly by Bow Tie on the outside. Here comes York to the extreme outside now on the grey, Certain Avenger, and he looks as though he may have them covered. He's coming at them pretty quickly. Mr. Snoopy's over on the inside, Certain Avenger loomed up, hit the lead. Mr. Snoopy's going with him. Mr. Snoopy the inside, Certain Avenger the outside. Mr. Snoopy and Certain Avenger. It's going to be close. They're drawing to the post. Mr. Snoopy has just beaten Certain Avenger. Tied for third, and a photo there, Proud Native, Bow Tie and Champagne Jim. Then in the limelight, further back in the field was another Munder and Bold Profile last of all.
It'll be 5-1 and a photo there in race number 1 in Brisbane. In fact, it'll be a photo all round, but number 5, Mr. Snoopy, will get the decision by about a half head from 1 Certain Avenger, and tied for third between 3 of them, Champagne Jim, Bow Tie and Proud Native, numbers 3, 7 and 8. All in the photo there for the minor numbers after the first at Eagle Farm. Race 2, paid officially $4.10 for the win and $1.20 for the place. Second was Marinsky, paying $1.80. Third, Milskay, 75 cents. Quinella was $19.60, and the trifecta, $132.05. We're coming up to $1.50 for the place. Second, Certain Avenger paid $50, and third was Proud Native, $2.35. The Quinella, $3.70, and the trifecta, $184.35. We're coming up in the first. Ron Paps is your commentator.
Didn't begin all that quickly, but is now going through the field. Amber Show drops to the tail, and one of the best away Sidle Eyes, and going with it, Common Prayer, Perfect Image was there too, as they sort themselves out, or Perfect Message, I should say. Huzzah's Girl around the outside. Omnispeed works up into the pace, and Magic Lips tracks it up. Then further back, getting back on the inside now, is Perfect Message. Watchful Ladies midsection, 2 lengths further back in the field, then Paralla. Over on the inside, Rangers Victory, 2.5, Hard Ridden Trenair, and dropping to the the tail is Amber Show. Working onto the side now. They race to the 1,000-metre point. Common Prayer steadied in front, and it's travelling nicely for the rider. A length and a half. Magic Lips joining Hussar's Girl Sidelize. On the speed's about fifth, followed then by Perfect Message. 1.5 Watchful Lady running a better race today from Paralla. Then Trenera around the outside of Ranger's Victory, and about 3 or 4 last of all is Amber Show. Down the side they race, and Common Prayer joined by Magic Lips puts the speed on. 2.5 in advance of Hussar's Girl. Sidelize and Omni Speed ridden up on the outside from Perfect Message, Watchful Lady. They get away now from Ranger's Victory, Paralla, and forget about Trenera. It's not in the race, neither's Amber Show. On the turn they race now, and in a go. Coming to the 400-metre mark, Common Prayer again shrugs off Magic Lips. Hussar's Girl comes at them. On the speed, not travelling well. Back on the inside, Sidelize bumps Magic Lips out of the way, and then came Perfect Message, followed by Watchful Lady. Omni Speed's gone. 200 to run though, and the leader Common Prayer got right away. 4 in front. Perfect Message, Hussar's Girl, Sidelize, Watchful Lady are all slugging away, but Common Prayer is going to prove last week's win was no fluke at all, and Common Prayer will go on and win by about 5 lengths. Second placing, Perfect Message. Third, Hussar's Girl. Dead heat for fourth, Watchful Lady and Sidelize. A break then, nice run, the newcomer Ranger's Victory. Magic Lips, Paralla on the speed did nothing at all. 4 lengths away, Trenera, and tailed off Amber Show.
10 and 3, the placings as called by Ron on the first event. An easy victory to number 2, Common Prayer, in race 1 in Adelaide, ridden by P. Shepherd. Second was number 10, Perfect Message, Ricky Barone, and third, number 3, Hussar's Girl, R. Jolly. 2, 10 and 3 on race 1. The second event at 120 stalls, a field of 15 to run, with the scratchings of 1, 2 and 5. Here's Ian Craig for his call of race 2.
1,600 metres ahead of them. Stand by for a start. Racing this time, not a bad break either. And one of the best to begin was Noble Treasure. Shadowy Waters jumped out well, and so did Clerval. Then Wetu Manawa, followed by Ben Tink and Held High, Raffin Prince Farzak. Nakoma very deep, and then comes Anota, followed further back by Mount Curl on the inside. Wider out is Ninja. Then Tracosta, Mellow Road second last, and Tropical Prince is last. At the 1,200 metres, a Noble Treasure leads the way, a length on Wetu Manawa, who's between Ben Tink and Shadowy Waters. Then Clerval, a couple of lengths Held High, followed by the Grey Raffin Prince, a length, the Mount Curl and Nakoma. One further back, Anota, then comes Ninja and Farzak, followed by Mellow Road, Tracosta wide out, and Tropical Prince whips them in. Onto the side, approaching the 850, a Noble Treasure leads a half length on Shadowy Waters. A length away third is the well-tried Wetu Manawa on the inside of Clerval, then Raffin Prince and Held High. Nakoma wide out improved from Ben Tink and Anota, then Ninja further back in the field, Mount Curl and Farzak, followed by Tracosta. Mellow Road is second last, and Tropical Prince is last as they bunch at the 600 metres. And Noble Treasure leads about a half length or so on Shadowy Waters. In third position as they commence the swing, Clerval, followed by Raffin Prince, and Carmody tried to get out on Wetu Manawa. Around the corner when they sprinted, Wetu Manawa couldn't, and on top of the rise now, the Grey Raffin Prince and Clerval come after Shadowy Waters and Noble Treasure. A length Nakoma sticking on, then Anota, and further back is Mount Curl and Wetu Manawa. Clerval just in front of Raffin Prince and Shadowy Waters at the 100, then Noble Treasure, but Clerval going great guns. He kicked away Clerval and is coming away now from Shadowy Waters, and it's Clerval. Clerval from Shadowy Waters and Raffin Prince close for the minors, then Mount Curl, Anota and Nakoma, Noble Treasure, Ninja, Farzak, and at the head of the others, Held High, followed by Mellow Road and Tracosta. Further back in the field, Tropical Prince, and then Ben Tink, and yes, last of all was Wetu Manawa.
Placing should be 6, 9 and 10 there on race number 2 in Sydney this afternoon. The winner was number 6, Clearville, ridden by Apprentice A. Cavallo. Second placing will be a photo, but 9, Shadowy Waters, Gavin Duffy should get second, just in front of the grey number 10, Raffin Prince, ridden by M. Peters. That's $1.05 the place. Second, Barry's Gold, $1.05. Third, Dr. Sam, 95 cents. Quinella dividend was $16.90. The trifecta, $142.40, and the running double, $659.75. Now in Sydney, 6, 9 and 10 are official. 6, 9, 10 official placings, race 2 after the photo in Sydney. Righto, Canada.
This is the 4 and 20 export pie. It's bigger, chunkier, and now available oven fresh from these very special 4 and 20 hot shops. You'll love it. Because while 4 and 20 have taken the pie out of Australia, they've taken none of the Australian out of the pie.
Now for this, the second division of the Somerton Handicap, a full field of 14 on this delightful day as we take you back out to Moonee Valley and Brian Martin.
Right, they're moving in here. Thanks, Pete. The favourite Kremlin coming back in Journey. Senor Jester is stepping up in Journey. It's a very blustery day out here, and the sun's still streaming down, which is really going to improve the track as the day goes on. It's perfect drying weather for the surface here. As English Bow goes into line, we wait on Blimey Charlie and on Canvas, the last two to come up. Top three all look well. Senor Jester broke the reins. It whipped around and dumped the jockey as they came onto the track.
This one in Adelaide, 2, 10 and 3 were the numbers. The winner, Common Prayer, $3 for the winner, $1.05 the place. Second, Perfect Message, 95. Third, Hussar's Girl, 80. Quinella, $7.95. Trifecta, $48.10. Race number 2 in Sydney. Numbers were 6, 9 and 10. The winner, Claire Bill, $7.30 and $2.40. Second, Shadowy Waters, $1.55. Third, Raffin Prince, $3.30. And we're waiting on the Quinella and Trifecta to come through on race number 2 in Sydney. 6, 9 and 10 were the placings there on the second event. Now they're still working on Blimey Charlie out there at Moonee Valley. The farrier, $648.40. Back to you, Brian.
Blimey Charlie goes into line. They're ready to go. Senor Jester on the inside of Cherry Hills. They'll get them away pretty quickly. Just waiting on the signal from behind here at the Valley. Signal given. Light is on. Ready to run. Racing. Senor Jester on the inside, away with them. Cherry Hills a little bit tardy away, and dropping back was Sea Level. Mystic Pearl has begun okay and going fast up towards the lead now is Isle. Senor Jester getting up on the inside and further out March Order. There's about 4 or 5 of them across the track. Senor Jester's been able to get up along the inside of Isle when they settle down, and on the outside of them March Order, and going with them is Beam Me Up, and they're followed further back by Ebony and Ivory, and Port of Biscay is deep. Right behind them Cherry Hills, getting a fair way back out very deep is the favourite Kremlin, going around the outside of Ebony and Ivory. Out there with him is Blimey Charlie, and 2 or 3 further back Sea Level, followed by English Bow, and tailed off is Spitting Embers. Coming up to the school now, about 700 metres out. Wide out here, Port of Biscay has raced up with March Order and Isle. Senor Jester back on the inside under pressure, and here's the favourite Kremlin under the whip, but running on fairly, and then Cherry Hills, and they've got away from Beam Me Up, and the others are struggling further back in the field on Canvas, but on the turn Port of Biscay out deep just in front of Isle. Heading off the track is Kremlin, back on the inside Senor Jester. In the straight it's Isle and Port of Biscay. Right on the outside, coming home well as Kremlin, but Isle got to the front from Port of Biscay. Kremlin down the outside, but Isle's in front with about 80 metres to go, and Isle will get the money. Isle scored 3/4 to Port of Biscay. 3 lengths out, very deep. Third is Kremlin, fourth Cherry Hills, then Blimey Charlie. A gap then in the field further back to Senor Jester. English Bow made some ground, followed by Mystic Pearl. Well back in the field then on Canvas, Beam Me Up, followed by Sea Level. March Order dropped right out from Spitting Embers, and the last one in is Ebony and Ivory. Number 4, the winner, Isle, number 4, was tackled and headed by Port of Biscay prior to the home turn, but it fought back. Number 4, Isle, ridden by Rodney Sim. Second placing, Port of Biscay, number 14, Simon Marshall, and Greg Hall headed out very deep from about the 400 metre mark, out to the middle of the track on Kremlin, but it just couldn't make up any ground out there, and it's run third, number 2.
Now for race number 2 on the card at Brisbane.
All set now. Starter has the button. He's ready to release them. Line looks pretty good. Attendants clear the stalls. Dior on the inside. Racing now. One of the first out was Free Roman, and Princely Current began quickly. Touch Craig showing speed, and Dior up nice and handy in the early part. Bonnie Scott moving up to be fourth on the outside. Northcliffe is trapped out fairly deep, about 5 wide as they run onto the first bend. Red Triumph drifting back in the field with Tammy Char, and then Egotistical and On Your Own, and Draw Bars 4 lengths off last. Lemon Bit of the leader heading down the side, 800 metres out, joined now by Touch Craig. A length away third is Northcliffe getting up a little bit closer. Dior in a little bit of trouble, struck the rail there and dropped back 2 or 3 lengths. Passed by Bonnie Scott on the outside and Free Roman in the middle. A length then to Princely Current, and then Dior, who's going backwards at the moment, has dropped out about third. Last pass by On Your Own, Princely Current. Red Triumph next on the outside. Egotistical a long way back, and Draw Bar last of all. straightening up 400 metres out. Lemon Bitter swept up on the outside and ran to a clear lead. Northcliffe coming after Lemon Bitter. Touch Craig still there, then Bonnie Scott, Free Roman, Princely Current and Red Triumph to the outside, then On Your Own. They've got 200 metres to go, and Northcliffe, Losh has pushed him up on the outside and he's taken the lead. He's got him under a fair bit of pressure. Lemon Bitter's fighting on. Northcliffe just in front of Lemon Bitter. It's going to be close. Northcliffe, Lemon Bitter. Lemon Bitter's kicking again. They hit it. Lemon Bitter, I think, just outstayed him. I think Lemon Bitter's just nosed out Northcliffe. On Your Own third. Fourth in was probably Bonnie Scott or Dieu d'Or. The next one in was Princely Current, Tammy Char made up ground. Touch Craig next on the inside. Then Free Roman. Drawbar a fair way back, and Egotistical and Red Triumph have finished well back in the field.
Numbers should be 5, 7 and 1, but the judge calling for the photo, probably Lemon Bitter on the inside, just beating Northcliffe and On Your Own, 5, 7 and 1, probably after race number 2. And we can take you now to Ron Paps for his call of the second event. So here's Ron.
A little bit of money on the TAB for Comaram Park. Now just waiting on Hathor to come up. The 2-year-old won very easily by Common Prayer, Peter Shepherd. It defeated Perfect Message and Hussar's Girl. Now they're almost ready. Racing this time, and a pretty tidy start. A little slow to begin was Vanity Prince towards the inside. Out deep on the track, My True Blue came out running and led narrowly from Ashanti Gold, and getting up on the inside but under the whip, Warfire to hold them out. Comaram Park is next and the pace is on to suit it. Then Hathor scrubbed up, followed by Medici. Vanity Prince in front of 3 there, Montre, Sterling and Moore, and also Princess Seymour. Racing to the turn, and My True Blue and Warfire. And another one in the centre there, Ashanti Gold are cutting. They're 2.5, Hathor around Comaram Park, who's had a good run. Another 2 lengths away to Vanity Prince running a fair race, and then came Medici winding up. Then 3 to Montrace, 2 away Princess Seymour, and last Sterling and Moore on the turn. And Warfire just the leader. It's had no peace. My True Blue, Hathor come at it. Back in behind them, waiting for a crack at them now, Comaram Park. He goes for Warfire. It's flat. Hathor grabbed it. Could be its day. Swept to the lead. Hathor got 2 in front. There doesn't look to be any dangers. Mardisi's running on only fairly to second with the weight. But Hathor is plain sailing. Comaram Park coming late. Mardisi will get to third, but Hathor wins it well by 2.5. And an overdue win sees Hathor go on and score by about that margin from Comaram Park, Medici, Warfire. And then Vanity Prince, a very tidy run. 4 lengths away then, My True Blue, Princess Seymour, Montrace, Ashanti Gold, and last in Sterling and Moore doing nothing.
8, 2 and 1 the numbers. Number 8, Hathor, the winner of race 2 in Adelaide, ridden by Peter Shepherd. That's a double to him. Second, 2, Comaram Park, Ricky Stocker, and third was number 1. Second, returned $3.20, and third was Kremlin, and it paid 75 cents. The Quinella was $37.25. Trifecta, $239.05. And the running double on races 2 and 3, a dividend of $31.50. Now, in the next event in Sydney, and that is race number 3 on the card, which is round about 6 minutes away. Number 16.35 and 3.35. Second, 7, Northcliffe, 85. Third, 1, On Your Own, 80 cents. The Quinella, $24.40. We're waiting on the trifecta dividend for race number 2 in Brisbane. Next event at Moonee Valley is race 4 on the card, and of race number 3.
18 competing. Starter on his stand now. Red Sentinel drawn on the inside. Racing, not a bad break and wide out with amongst the best to begin with Knight of India. Away well was Chaudhry, going smartly caught Destiny with Mountain Boy and Outgun Handy. A length further back is Kilmore, and then comes Red Sentinel the inside, Hadrian's Valet, and then Stanhope Lad, Justice Walk. A length the Gold Mason Indies Trader, Aro Pagus, and then Tallahassee. Cup Night second last, and Worse for Wear brings up the rear. 1,200 to go, and Mountain Boy in front. Devil's Ride goes up quickly to be second. A length third, Kilmore, and wider Gold Mace hunted up by Campton. A length Knight of India outgunned one off the rails, then caught Destiny, and Whiff followed by Red.